This is the Genesis GV80 and it's a little bit like Joe Exotic because it saved a tiger. No, really, it did save Tiger Woods. He actually had a crash in one of these things and he left the road at 87 miles an hour, ran into a tree, rolled over, all that kind of stuff, and the police said he was lucky to be alive. This car saved his life. Now in this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Genesis GV80. I'm going to walk you around the exterior, show you the interior, try its tech, see how practical it is, take it for a drive, and I'm going to launch it to see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Car Wow. Arr. Buy, sell, Car Wow. The first thing I'm going to do in this video is expose an exaggeration using the Car Wow stick of truth. So look at the size of those exhaust pipes. They're absolutely massive. Obviously this car's got a huge engine. Look inside. These are just surrounds. Just got moderate size actual exhaust pipes. Bit of a lie. There's a bit more kind of subterfuge with the rest of this car. I'll come to that in a moment. Other than that though, really like the rear end, like this split taillight design, big Genesis logo, nice roof spoiler, like the colour of this car as well. Moving down the side, alloy wheels start at 20 inches, which is pretty large, but all but the entry level car get 22s. Look at the size of them, really fill the arches, though I think the actual design of the wheels look a little bit aftermarket, which is a shame because the side profile of this car is just gorgeous. Really, really like it. The chrome here helping the look, the swooping kind of tail part here, really nice, and very, very strong shoulder line there. It looks like it's got good muscular haunches. Now, if you go for a sport model, this part is like black rather than this silvery colour. And if you look here, these little side vents, they don't do anything, they're fake. And they sort of remind me of another car. All models get silver coloured brake calipers, which look nice. Then at the front, I'm now realising what car it reminds me of. It's obviously a Bentley Bentayga. Look at that grille, it's absolutely huge. And even a wing badge there on the bonnet. This is sort of like Grand Theft Auto has done a Bentley Bentayga. Not going to fault it though, I think it's a really smart looking thing. I don't care that it's been inspired by the Bentayga, like the Genesis light design as well. Really, really nice. It's not cheap though. It's cheaper than a Bentayga, you know, it starts at £60,000, but it's quite expensive. And this one, top of the range car with all the bells and whistles, £78,000. Does the interior of this GV80 live up to the exterior? Well, do you know what? I think it does. Maybe more so. If you told me this car costs £100,000, I wouldn't be surprised because it feels that luxurious. You've got lovely soft materials on the dash, stitched leatherette. You've got knee pads down here. This wood trim feels very nice. Though if you get a sport model, that's aluminium, so I wouldn't get a sport model because I do like this wood trim. All the panels on the door feel expensive and well put together. The steering wheel's lovely, though this is the top of the range car, so you get this two-tone steering wheel, which lesser models don't get. And then there's the infotainment system, which you've got this massive touchscreen up here, which is a little bit hard to reach, to tell you the truth, but don't worry, you've got some separate controls down here for it. So you've got shortcut buttons and then this sort of touchpad which allows you to scroll through different things, and then a wheel that you turn to then rotate through the different menus, which, if I'm honest, sort of mimics BMW's iDrive but isn't quite as easy to use. In fact, the infotainment system isn't quite as logical as BMW's. Actually, it looks a little bit like they've copied BMW with their crystal clarity. Look, the way you've got crystal in there and crystal in there. Actually, it's not crystal, it's plastic. I do like the fact they separated out the climate control from the main infotainment system. So you've got this bank of controls here, so you can control the actual temperature using these dials. That's easy to do when you're driving. The rest of the buttons for the main climate are touch sensitive. Not quite as good as physical buttons, but still easy enough to use while you're driving. Same with the heated and ventilated seats, though you do have physical shortcut buttons for the infotainment system here. Let's move on to the digital driver's display. So this is the upgraded display. And you know what? While it gives enough information, it looks clear-ish. The resolution of the graphics is a little bit like mid-noughties. That needs to be higher definition. That is a bit of a letdown, if you ask me, which is a shame because everything else just feels premium, expensive and lush, especially the Alcantara headlining on this range-topping version. And I like this as well. The biggest vanity mirrors I've seen on any car. It can actually fit my entire huge head in there. Anyway, let's move on to storage. So underneath here, oh look, we have some storage and it's lined with felt, which feels premium. Quite a decent space actually under there. You've got your cup holders here, look, whole bottles, reasonably firmly. Then if I go into here, oh, while I'm at it, look, everything's nicely damped, isn't it? Oh, dampage. Anyway, you've got your wireless charging pad down there and then 2 USB ports. The glove box, how well damped is that? Went down a bit quick, but then it has got some rather large books in it. So what we've got here, so this is the quick guide. How's this quick? It's in every language under the sun, so you have to like scan through it for ages to find your language. Why can't we just have my particular language for the market it's sold in? And then this is the manual itself, which is in this box to make it feel more expensive. Yeah, let's put that back. Actually, let's just check this now without the weight in it. See, that's properly damned. It was struggling under all this weight, but it still did a fine job. Can I put this stuff back in here? This is proper car reviewing, isn't it? Yeah, it fits. Okay, there is one issue though, I'm going to show you right now. It's the door bins. So, large bottle. Most big SUVs would be able to accommodate such a large bottle in their door bins, but no chance here. You can just about fit this kind of bottle. Look, that's a bit rubbish. But I'm sort of forgiving it because everything feels really soft and expensive down there. As for the driving position, well, this one has the upgraded seats and they are lovely, very, very comfy, and lots of adjustment in them. And it is easy to get an ideal driving position because of the range of movement you've got in the steering wheel. Look. See, it's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, I'm liking it in here. Here in the middle row, the GV80, it feels just as luxurious as in the front with nice build quality. These diamond quilted seats, very, very nice. Knee room's good, headroom's good. If you need to carry 3 people in the back at once, it's not too much of a problem. Yes, there is this hump in the floor, but the footwells are so large. I mean, look at them, loads of space. And this middle seat is quite wide and cushioning, and the body itself is quite wide. It means it is room for 3 adults across the back. Not the most comfortable, but doable. Another thing I like about this car is the practicality here in the back. So you've got posh airplane style folders there. You have an armrest with cup holders and an extra storage area here. And if you need some through loading, look at this. You've got that. Now, if you pay an extra £2,100, you can upgrade to the comfort pack, which means as well as seats that slide like that, you get electrical operation of the base, so you can actually lift it up like that for a bit more under thigh support, which is very good and quite unusual, to tell you the truth. Not unusual as in weird, more unusual because you don't get it on many cars. In fact, I can't think of another car you get it on. And the backrest, look, reclines, and it reclines quite a way. Look at that. That's a lot of reclination. The comfort pack also includes this as well. Look, woohoo! Electrically operated blinds. Now, in the back you've got dual zone climate control, and we've got heated seats and ventilated seats in this one. That's also part of the comfort pack. And down here we have 2 USBs, old school style, and then a 220 volt outlet, though this is just European plug style and not 3-pin for the UK. Why, Genesis? Why didn't you bother with that, eh? My only gripe really is the door bins, once again, like in the front. Small. You're only going to fit one of these bottles in there. Now, let's move in to the very back, see what it's like. How easy is this going to be, I wonder? Oh, I forgot to tell you about fitting the baby seats. Do you know what? I thought it was going to be a bit of a faff because the ISOFIX anchor points aren't behind some covers. You have to bodge in between the seats, but they're exposed quite well. So actually fitting a baby seat in this car is so easy. And you don't really have to bend down because the seat bases are high, and there's plenty of room that you can fit a rear facing seat without having to move the front passenger seat forward. Anyway, now let's check out the very back seats. So the third row, to access it, you press this button here and this seat will move out the way. That doesn't look like much of a gap for me to squeeze through, but I can just give it a bit of assistance. Right, oh, I'm not very supple. There we go. Oh, come on. Yep. So, let me move this seat out the way so you can see what's going on back here. Get out the way. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is pull this seat back to where I think I'm going to have enough knee room. So I determine it in the back where I want it to stop. Right, okay, that's probably about right. Let's try that. There we go. Now, as you can see, that's an all right amount of knee room there, but what's it like for someone sitting there? Jack, can you just jump in and see what it's like sat there? Can you fit? We could probably make this go back a bit further actually. There we go. I've still got enough knee room. How tall are you, Jack?
I'm 6'3".
Okay, and are you fine?
Yeah, we've got plenty of space.
So look, I can just about sit behind Jack, who's 6'3", in the very back. Now these seats are actually quite raised off the floor, unlike in some other 7-seaters, so it's not too uncomfortable. Yes, I am in a bit of a squat. There's lots of jingles and noises in this car. That was the shutdown jingle. The car's just turned itself off. Anyhow, look, I mean, this is a bit of a stress position, but it's not too bad. My only real issue with the back of this car is headroom. Yeah, it's not as good as a Mercedes GLS. Things that I can't fault though, I like the fact that, look, I've actually got an electrically operated backrest, though I don't know why I'd ever sit like that, because that really is uncomfortable now. And we've got some cup holders down here, and here, a little storage area. Once again though, it all feels very posh and expensive. What does having the back row in place do for the car's boot capacity? Well, let's have a look. I do like the way that you open it by pressing the button up here, rather than having to reach around down there where it's all grubby. Reach around. So look, not much room at all. We can just about fit a pelly case in here. Luckily, there's no load lip to lift things over, and you've got these scuff plates here, which you probably will end up scuffing. Anyhow, if you want more room, obviously you're going to have to make sure there's no one sat there and fold down these rear seats, and it's easy to do. Look, I can just do it pressing button like that. There we go. Fold away. Bear with me. Well, there we go. 727 litres of space, which, if it's hard for you to conceptualise, it's basically 1.9 times the boot capacity of a Volkswagen Golf, though an Audi Q7 with its third row folded has 2.2 times the boot capacity of a Volkswagen Golf. So, still big enough for most people. And look, we seem to have this little cover, which is reversible. So it's handy if you've got a dog, look, dirty dog in your car, not an issue, because then you can just like clean this out much easier. Anyway, let me get this out of the way for now. I'm going to fold down the second row, so here we go. I like how it's all electrically operated. Once again, we'll have to wait. Don't know why I was doing that little dance. It's because it's cold, I'm trying to keep warm. My toes are actually freezing. There we go, look at that. Massive, massive space, and it's almost completely flat, but not quite. There's a bit of a ridge there. It's done it again. It's always jingling at me, this car. That sounds rude, doesn't it? Like it should have some kind of restraining order for jingling at people. Right, anyway, look. See? So you can't just slide really heavy items straight to the front. You have to go round and lift them over the ridge, or do it this way. And that brings us on to 5 annoying things about the Genesis GV80. In most cars, once it's rained, you can clean your side windows so you can see out of them by just putting them down. But for some reason, that doesn't appear to work in this car, look. All the droplets are still there. While the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE and the Audi Q7 can tow up to 3.5 tonnes, the tow capacity of the GV80 is 2.7 tonnes. You might think that that's enough, but actually, look, it's not enough to tow me. Look, it can't do it. I'm 2.8 tonnes, you see. Yeah, I'm just very, very dense, like dark matter. For some reason, Genesis hasn't bothered to fit any USB sockets in the third row. You just get an old-fashioned 12-volt socket. I would have thought the most important place to have USB ports would be in the back, where the kids are going to be, because you're going to want to keep their devices charged so they just constantly watch movies while you're driving anywhere, rather than just do your editing going, I'm almost there yet, I'm bored, I need a wee, I'm hungry, Johnny keeps hitting me, all that kind of nonsense. Well, you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. They're not wireless, look, I'm connected by a wire, and when I remove that, it's all going to get an absolute shit. Oh. While it's great that there are these buttons so that the VIP in the rear can move the front passenger seat forward out the way to create even more leg space, it's a bit annoying that the seat doesn't recognise when there's someone sat in it and they've got the seatbelt on, because if you've got kids in the back, they could end up trolling their parents by doing this kind of thing, look. I use this for torture. You see, Daddy, I definitely want a new iPad for Christmas. If you don't give me an iPad, I'm going to crush you. How comfortable is that not? No. It's not comfortable. You're going to have to stay there for the rest of the video. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. The GV80 comes with 5 years warranty, 5 years breakdown assistance, and 5 years free servicing. Yeah. A special forward-facing camera can read the road ahead to look out for any kind of undulations or holes or imperfections, and it can set up the suspension to deal with it, so you just glide across them in utmost comfort. The automatic cruise control can not only keep you a safe distance from the car in front and steer to keep you in lane, it actually learns your driving style, so it will drive automatically in the way you would. So if you like to tailgate, it let you get close to the car in front. If you like to hand back and be a bit more relaxed, then it will do that automatically. How you doing?
Can I get out?
No, you can't. This particular car is fitted with the optional £1,600 ergo seats, which are designed to be good for your back. In fact, they've won an award from Action Gesunde Rücken EV, which will probably mean nothing to you. It's basically some kind of like back organisation in Germany. They rate these seats and they're very comfy. How comfy are they?
Oh, my back really hurts.
Shut up. The load cover will fit in a special recessed area underneath the boot floor. There we go, look, perfect.
Can I get out?
Yes, one day you'll be able to get out, but I don't think that day is today. The question is though, is the engine range one of the other good features about this car? Well, actually no, it's a bit of a weak point. You see, if you want petrol power, there's just one. It's a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo, whereas really this car needs 6 cylinders or maybe even 8. Still, this engine puts out 304 horsepower, and if you want more than 4 cylinders, there is the option of a 3 litre diesel which has 6 cylinders. That puts out 278 horsepower. I'm going to start driving the GV80 in town, see what it's like here. So, view out is really good. You sit quite high, the dash isn't too high, so you get a good view over that long bonnet. The blind spots caused by this pillar aren't too bad because you've got this little extra window there. Door mirrors are huge, the view out the back window is pretty good as well. The steering is super light. The brakes are quite light, then you press them a little bit more and then they suddenly like grab the wheels, so a little bit jerky when you try and do a real steady stop. They do that. That happens quite a bit. Obviously being an auto, it's relaxing to drive in town, and when we finally get going again, it just smoothly pulls away and blends the gears quite nicely. Here we go, you'll see what I mean. Look, smooth away. Oh, it's into second gear, didn't really notice that. Into third, didn't notice that, but I did notice that. I went through a pothole, did you see me getting shaken like that? Considering this is supposed to have that special camera system which reads the roads and sees potholes, don't think it saw that one. In fact, the suspension does feel a little bit overly firm, a little more than you'd imagine. It's not uncomfortable, but you do feel the bumps a little bit, and the imperfections, it picks those up as well, and so it can feel a little bit kind of shaky at times, a little bit more so than you'd expect from a luxury SUV such as this. I'm just going to see how manoeuvrable it is. So the turning circle is 11.9 metres, which is better than its key competitors. Can I make it around here without covering those massive alloy wheels? This one's going to be an old one. Let's go, cameras. Cameras. Camera says no. Camera says no. Can I look around there? No, it's a definite no. Look at that. What a no. Oh yeah. There was a 3-pointer there. To be fair, I'd have probably had to do the same manoeuvre in an Audi Q7. It doesn't quite drive in quite an expensive feeling way as it does to look at and to just sit in when it's stationary. Maybe it's better the faster you go. Let's say you're approaching a dual carriageway, such as I am now, you're at 40 and need to suddenly overtake. What's the pickup like? So, flooring it, takes a second for the gearbox to respond, then we're off. And the engine gets a little bit noisy when you start to rev it out. That's the thing about it being a 4-cylinder. Also, the lane departure warning's losing its mind as I'm crossing the line without indicating, sorry car, please forgive me. The pickup itself, it wasn't stellar, but it was quick enough. And when you are just cruising at higher speeds, there seems to be quite a bit of, I'm not sure if it's wind noise or road noise, it's quite consistent, it's like road noise. Bit more than I'd expect from a car like this. And it doesn't feel quite supplanted when you're going quickly. It rocks about a little bit still over the bumps. It's okay, but it's not the last word in sophistication. Bit like me. Last thing to do though, let's check the average economy. So I'm doing 25 miles to the gallon, which isn't brilliant considering it's a 4-cylinder engine. You'd be having one of those, wouldn't you, for economy, but I'm not really getting that good economy. I'm sure you can turn the lane departure warning off. Just can't figure out how to do it. In fact, do you know what? I'll do auto cruise instead. It's actually pretty good. It'll just hook me up to the lane and then I don't have to worry about weaving about like a moron. There we are. Just relax. The question is though, does the GV80 cut the mustard on a twisty road? So I'm going to go into sport setting. Here we go. That'll sharpen up the throttle response, the responsiveness of the gearbox while I'm in, I was in off-road mode there. There we go, sport mode. It's also stiffened up the suspension and I can feel the seat gripping me more. And that's the distance control because I'm too close to the camera car now and it's going crazy.
lots of safety systems that are quite vocal. This is a very vocal car. So once again, this road is a little bit bumpy, so I'm getting shaken around a little bit by this car. But will the firm suspension mean that it goes around the bends without leaning too much? And the answer to that question is, do you know what? It stays pretty blooming upright. And once again, more warning sounds and worryingness. It's doing quite a good job down here. It's hustling along a back road better than I thought it would do. It's just that the suspension feels a bit choppy still. It's annoying. And I must say the steering doesn't feel like it's connected to the front wheels. It makes the car go where you want it to go, but you have no idea what's actually happening with the front wheels, how much grip you've got, which is kind of important on a day like today when it's slippy. Genesis says the petrol version of the GV80 will do 0 to 60 in 7.7 seconds, but we'll find out now with the specialist timing gear. I'm going to launch it. Come on, what we got? That's a 6.65. I take it all back, 4-cylinder unit. That is decent.
So then what's my final verdict on the Genesis GV80? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I'd shortlist it. Now, it might not have the badge kudos of the Germans or drive quite as well. However, it looks great and it feels so much more luxurious inside.